You still doing that little court stuff? My uncle smirked across the table. The whole room laughed like I was some hobbyist with a briefcase. They didn't know the next courtroom they'd walk into would be mine. My name is Clara Evans, I'm 31 and I'm a public defender in Raleigh, North Carolina. At family dinners, my cousins, corporate lawyers, and my uncle, a judge, mocked me as the family underachiever, dismissing my work for low-level clients. They didn't know I'd been building a landmark case for years, one tying back to their own shady dealings. When my voice echoed through the courtroom speaker, delivering a verdict that shook their world, their laughter died. It started last fall at a family dinner at my uncle's Raleigh estate. The dining room gleamed with crystal and smug smiles. My uncle, Judge Raymond Holt, presided over the table like a courtroom. My cousins, Natalie and Ethan, corporate attorneys for Holt and Pierce, bragged about million-dollar deals. Mom beamed at them. "You're making us proud," she said. Dad nodded, then turned to me. "Clara still stuck with petty cases?" Natalie smirked. "Public defenders are basically charity workers." Ethan laughed. "Low-level stuff, right?" I sipped my wine silent. They thought I was small-time, but I was building a case that would hit them where it hurt. The truth? I wasn't just a public defender. I'd spent 3 years on a pro bono case against Pierce Development, a real estate giant linked to Holt and Pierce, accused of defrauding low-income tenants. My client, Maria Lopez, had been evicted illegally, her evidence pointing to forged leases tied to Natalie's firm. I'd uncovered emails linking Ethan to the scheme and a court filing signed by Uncle Raymond, fast-tracking evictions. My work was meticulous: depositions, financial records, and a whistleblower from Pierce. My family saw me as a failure, but I held evidence that could unravel their empire. Natalie's jabs sharpened at Christmas. "Clara still saving the poor?" she asked, passing the gravy. Mom chuckled. "Nat's closing deals with senators." Dad added, "Your cases don't even make the news, Clara." I smiled, hiding my anger. I'd just deposed a Pierce exec who confirmed Ethan's role in the fraud. They thought I was chasing petty thieves, but I was chasing their secrets. My evidence included Maria's lease, Pierce's forged documents, and an email from Ethan to a developer. "Push the tenants out fast." I was ready to take it to court. The turning point came when my case was scheduled for a high-profile trial in Raleigh, set to be live-streamed due to public interest. Uncle Raymond would preside, unaware his name was in my evidence. Natalie and Ethan planned to attend, expecting to watch me flop. I saw my chance, not just to win for Maria but to expose their hypocrisy in a public courtroom. The verdict would hit their firm and their reputation. I wasn't seeking revenge but justice. I prepared meticulously, knowing their influence could sway perceptions if I wasn't airtight. I had Maria's testimony, the whistleblower's affidavit, and financial records showing Pierce's profits from illegal evictions. My friend Alex Reed, a legal investigator, had dug up Ethan's emails. "Clara, this is dynamite," he said over coffee in Raleigh. "Why let them mock you?" I leaned forward, my voice low. "They'll hear my name in court." Alex had a recording of a Pierce exec admitting to the fraud, gold for my case. I needed to ensure my evidence landed hard. I emailed my co-counsel, Sarah Klein, requesting to deliver the closing argument myself. "I've built this case," I wrote. "I want to finish it." She replied, "It's yours, Clara. Make it count." Alex connected me with a Raleigh Times reporter, Lisa Nguyen, covering the trial. I sent an anonymous tip. "The public defender's case will shock Raleigh. Watch the verdict." Lisa replied, "I'm there. Sounds explosive." I wanted their shock live-streamed. I kept up the underachiever act, filing routine motions while Natalie texted, "Don't embarrass us in court, Clara." I replied, "Just doing my job, Nat." They didn't know I'd be facing them in Uncle Raymond's courtroom. I practiced my closing, linking their names to the fraud without emotion. I wanted justice, not drama. I studied North Carolina tenant law, confirming my case was airtight. My evidence, Lisa's emails, affidavits, would hold. The night before the trial, I stood in my apartment reviewing my notes, the Pierce emails spread across my desk. My evidence was backed up on a USB and cloud server. I texted Alex, "Ready?" He replied, "You're about to bury them." My family thought I was a hobbyist lawyer. Tomorrow my voice would echo through the courtroom speaker. He looked me in the eye and said, "We're moving on without you." What he didn't realize was the land under his feet still had my name on it. My name is Lila Carter, I'm 34 and I live in Raleigh, North Carolina. 4 years I built a life with my partner Nathan Wells, on a sprawling property we turned into a dream, a vineyard we called Willow Creek. We poured our hearts into it, but when Nathan decided to start over with his new girlfriend Olivia Grant, he thought he could erase me from the story. He forgot the deed was in my name and I was about to reclaim my land, my worth, and my voice in a way he'd never see coming. It started last spring at our vineyard home in Raleigh. The air smelled of budding grapes, but the mood was sour. Nathan sat me down, his eyes cold. "I'm with Olivia now," he said. "We're starting fresh, without you." Olivia, a sleek interior designer, stood behind him, smirking. "This place needs a new vision," she added, eyeing our winery. Our friends, Mark and Jenna, who'd helped us build Willow Creek, nodded along, dazzled by Olivia's charm. "You'll be fine, Lila," Mark said. "Move on." I stayed quiet, my heart breaking. They thought I'd walk away, but the land was mine. The truth? Nathan had no claim to Willow Creek. I'd inherited the 50-acre property from my grandmother, and the deed remained in my name alone. We'd built the vineyard together, but I'd funded the startup costs with my savings as a landscape architect, paying $200,000 in taxes and permits. Nathan's name was on our business license, but not the land. I had the original deed, a trust locking my ownership, and bank records proving my investment. Olivia's text sent to Jenna read, "Lila's out. This winery's ours now." My private investigator, Tom Hayes, uncovered Nathan's plan to forge a new deed with Olivia's lawyer, Victor Klein. I held the upper hand, they just didn't know it yet. The betrayal deepened at a summer barbecue with our friends. The vineyard glowed under string lights, but the talk was all about Nathan and Olivia's new era for Willow Creek. Jenna gushed, "Olivia's redesign is stunning." Mark added, "Lila, you're better off without this place." Nathan smirked, raising a glass. "To fresh starts." I smiled, sipping my wine, saving Olivia's text to Mark. "Lila's too soft to fight for it." They thought I was a pushover, but I was already planning my move. The turning point came when I learned Nathan and Olivia had applied for a zoning change to expand Willow Creek, using a forged deed. The hearing, set to be live-streamed by the Raleigh Planning Board, was my chance. I wasn't after a screaming match. I wanted quiet, legal justice. My evidence would void their claim and reclaim my land, exposing their betrayal to our friends and the public. This wasn't just about the vineyard, it was about my worth. I prepared meticulously, knowing Nathan's charm and Olivia's connections could sway opinions if I wasn't airtight. I had the original deed, my grandmother's will naming me heir, and bank records showing my $200,000 investment. Tom's report detailed Victor's forged deed, backdated to predate our breakup. An email from Nathan to Victor read, "Lila won't check the deed. We're clear." My lawyer, Karen Wells, reviewed my case over coffee in Raleigh. "This is ironclad, Lila," she said. "They're done." I nodded, my voice low. I wanted public. Let their new era crash. I needed allies for the hearing. My friend Claire, a real estate agent who'd appraised Willow Creek, agreed to testify. "You built this place, Lila," she said, holding appraisal records. I also contacted Mr. Dawson, my grandmother's estate planner, who drafted the trust. "Your ownership is locked," he said. "I'll confirm it." Their support was my foundation. Olivia had flash, but I had facts. I kept up the quiet act, tending the vineyard while Nathan and Olivia planned their expansion. Olivia texted, "Don't make a scene at the hearing, Lila." I replied, "Just there to listen." They didn't know I'd be presenting evidence to void their deed. I practiced my statement, outlining my ownership and their fraud, my voice calm but firm. I wanted justice, not drama. I studied North Carolina property law, confirming trusts were nearly incontestable. My evidence was bulletproof. The night before the hearing, I stood in my vineyard, the deed in my hand, the grapes glowing under moonlight. My evidence was backed up on a USB and cloud server. I texted Karen, "Ready?" She replied, "They're about to lose everything." Nathan thought he could erase me. Tomorrow I'd show him the land was mine. Hey, if you're hooked on this story, hit that subscribe button for Revenge Line. We bring you epic family drama and revenge tales every week. Comment below and tell us where you're watching from. Stay tuned because Lila's about to take back what's hers. The zoning hearing at Raleigh City Hall was just days away, and I, Lila Carter, was in my Raleigh apartment, preparing to reclaim Willow Creek, the 50-acre vineyard I'd built with my ex-partner Nathan Wells. He'd betrayed me, announcing he was starting over with his new girlfriend Olivia Grant, claiming the winery as their own. Our friends Mark and Jenna sided with them, dazzled by Olivia's vision to reinvent the property. They didn't know the deed was in my name, inherited from my grandmother, and I held evidence of Nathan's attempt to forge a new deed with Olivia's lawyer Victor Klein. At the hearing, I'd void their claim and take back my land, letting their betrayal unravel publicly. I'd spent weeks fortifying my case, knowing Nathan's charm and Olivia's connections could sway the planning board if I wasn't airtight. I had the original deed, my grandmother's will naming me sole heir, and bank records showing my $200,000 investment in Willow Creek startup. Taxes, permits, and equipment, all from my savings as a landscape architect. My private investigator, Tom Hayes, had uncovered a forged deed filed by Victor, backdated to predate our breakup. An email from Nathan to Victor read, "Lila won't check the deed. We're clear." My lawyer, Karen Wells, reviewed my evidence over coffee in Raleigh. "This is a knockout, Lila," she said. "They're finished." I nodded, my voice low. "I want their new era exposed." I needed to ensure my evidence hit hard at the hearing. I emailed Karen requesting to present the case myself. "This is my land," I wrote. "I want to speak for it." She replied, "You've got the floor, Lila. Make it count." Tom connected me with a Raleigh News reporter, Emma Ward, covering the hearing. I sent an anonymous tip. "The vineyard's true owner will shock the board. Watch the deed." Emma replied, "I'm locked in. This sounds huge." I wanted Nathan and Olivia's shock live-streamed, their betrayal laid bare before Raleigh's community. At a vineyard party hosted by Nathan and Olivia, I played the quiet ex. The estate glowed with fairy lights, but the mood was all about their expansion plans. Jenna gushed, "Olivia's redesign is genius." Mark added, "Lila, you're better off moving on." Olivia smirked, showing off blueprints for a new tasting room. "This place is ours now," she said, glancing at Nathan. He raised a glass. "To new beginnings." I smiled, tending a grapevine, saving Olivia's text to Jenna, "Lila's too weak to fight." They didn't know I'd be at the hearing, presenting the real deed. I dropped hints saying, "The vineyard's future is complicated," but Mark laughed. "Complicated for you, maybe." Their betrayal was my fuel. I needed allies to strengthen my case. Claire, my real estate agent friend who'd appraised Willow Creek, agreed to testify. "You funded this place, Lila," she said, holding records valuing the land at $3 million. I also contacted Mr. Dawson, my grandmother's estate planner, who drafted the trust. "Your ownership is ironclad," he said. "I'll confirm it." Tom had a recording of Victor discussing the forged deed with a clerk, admitting, "Nathan needs this fast." Their support was my backbone. Olivia had style, but I had proof. I prepared my presentation for the hearing, outlining my ownership and Nathan's fraud. I included the original deed, my grandmother's will, and bank records, with a slide exposing Victor's forged document. Another slide, anonymized, showed Olivia's text, "Lila's too soft." My delivery was calm but razor-sharp, designed to reclaim my land without drama. I practiced in my apartment, standing before a mirror, my voice steady. "This is my vineyard, my legacy." I studied North Carolina property law, confirming trusts were nearly incontestable. My evidence, deed, will, emails, recording, was bulletproof. Nathan and Olivia sensed trouble. At the party, Olivia pulled me aside. "Lila, don't make a scene at the hearing," she said, her tone sweet but sharp. I shrugged, pruning a vine. "Just there to observe, Olivia." Nathan texted later, "Stay out of our plans, Lila." I saved it, adding it to my evidence. Their arrogance fueled me, they thought I'd crumble. Jenna called, her voice patronizing. "Focus on moving on, not the vineyard." I smiled into the phone, silent. I needed media to amplify the moment. Emma Ward's crew would livestream the hearing with access to Raleigh's news outlets. I sent another tip. "The vineyard's deed will shock you. Watch the owner." Emma replied, "We're ready." I wanted their betrayal broadcast live. I also contacted the planning board's clerk, Ms. Ellis, sending a note. Ensure Lila Carter's ownership is verified. She replied, "Your deed's on record, Ms. Carter." My evidence was backed up on a USB and cloud server, ready for any challenge. I spent nights refining my presence, reviewing the deed line by line, its notarized seal my anchor. I prepared a short statement for after the hearing, explaining my ownership without bitterness. I wanted to honor my grandmother's legacy, not fight. The hearing's agenda listed me as a concerned party, perfect for my low profile until I presented. My evidence would be undeniable: land I owned, fraud I exposed. The day before the hearing, I got a call from Karen. "Lila, the board's expecting a fight. Your deed's the trump card." My heart raced. She confirmed my moment. I packed my folder, the original deed tucked inside. I texted Claire, "It's time." She replied, "You're about to take it all back." I called Tom, confirming he'd be there. "They'll choke when you show the deed," he said, laughing. I stood in my apartment, staring at Willow Creek's photo. Nathan thought he could erase me. Tomorrow I'd show him the land was mine. Hey, if you're loving this revenge story, smash that subscribe button for Revenge Line. We drop epic family drama and takedowns every week. Comment below and tell us where you're watching from. Stay tuned because Lila's about to reclaim her legacy. The zoning hearing at Raleigh City Hall was electric. Its chamber packed with Vineyard investors, local reporters, and a live-stream camera broadcasting to Raleigh News. I, Lila Carter, stood at the podium in a tailored blazer, my folder holding the original deed to Willow Creek, the 50-acre vineyard I'd built with my ex-partner Nathan Wells. He'd betrayed me, announcing he was starting over with his girlfriend Olivia Grant and their friends Mark and Jenna, claiming my land as their own. They didn't know the deed was in my name, inherited from my grandmother, and I held evidence of Nathan's forged deed with Olivia's lawyer, Victor Klein. Today I'd reclaim my land and my worth, letting their betrayal collapse publicly. My allies, real estate agent Claire and estate planner Mr. Dawson, sat behind me ready to testify. Emma Ward, a Raleigh News reporter, was in the press pool, her camera crew capturing every moment. Nathan, Olivia, Mark, and Jenna sat in the front row, expecting their zoning change to sail through, unaware I was about to void their forged deed. My evidence was airtight. The original deed, my grandmother's will, bank records of my $200,000 investment, and Tom Hayes' report on Victor's fraud. I was ready to take back what was mine, not with screams but with contracts. The hearing began, the planning board chair, Ms. Ellis, calling Nathan and Olivia to present their expansion plan for Willow Creek. Olivia, in a sleek dress, unveiled blueprints for a new tasting room, her voice dripping with confidence. "This vineyard is our future," she said, glancing at Nathan. He nodded, presenting a forged deed claiming joint ownership. Mark whispered to Jenna, loud enough for the room to hear, "Lila's out of the picture." The gallery murmured, investors nodding. I stood calm, my folder ready. Claire squeezed my hand, whispering, "Show them." The cameras rolled, Emma Ward's crew zooming in. Ms. Ellis turned to me. "Ms. Carter, you've filed an objection?" I stepped forward, my voice steady. "I'm the sole owner of Willow Creek." The room gasped, Nathan's face paling. I projected the original deed, its notarized seal clear. This land was inherited from my grandmother. My name alone is on the title. I showed her will, naming me heir, and bank records proving my $200,000 investment. Taxes, permits, equipment. Olivia stood, her voice shrill. "That's impossible. We own it." I turned, calm but sharp. "Check your deed, Olivia. It's a forgery." I presented Tom's report, detailing Victor's backdated deed. An email from Nathan to Victor read, "Lila won't check the deed. We're clear." The gallery erupted, investors whispering. Claire testified, holding up appraisal records. Lila funded Willow Creek, valued at $3 million. She's the owner. Mr. Dawson followed, confirming the trust. "As Carter's ownership is incontestable," he said. I showed Olivia's text to Jenna. "Lila's too soft to fight." The room chuckled, cameras catching Nathan's jaw clenching. Emma Ward scribbled, her headline forming, "Vineyard owner exposes fraud." Victor, representing Nathan and Olivia, stammered, "This is a misunderstanding." I played Tom's recording of Victor admitting, "Nathan needs this fast." The board leaned forward, Miss Ellis frowning. "This suggests fraud," she said. I spoke, my voice echoing through the speaker. "Willow Creek is my legacy. Nathan and Olivia tried to steal it with a forged deed, backed by their lawyer. I projected their zoning application tied to the forgery. I'm reclaiming my land." The gallery cheered, advocates clapping. Mark tried to interrupt, shouting, "Lila's lying." I held up the deed. "The land speaks for itself." Miss Ellis called a recess, then ruled. "The original deed is valid. Miss Carter is the sole owner. The zoning change is denied and the forged deed is void." The verdict echoed through the speaker. "Willow Creek belongs to Lila Carter." The room erupted, investors abandoning Nathan. Olivia sank into her seat, her blueprints useless. Nathan's eyes darted, his charm shattered. The livestream went viral, trending as "Raleigh woman reclaims vineyard." Jenna texted, "Lila, we didn't know." I didn't reply. They'd betrayed me for months. The board referred Victor's forgery to the state bar for investigation. Nathan and Olivia faced a fraud inquiry, their new era collapsing. I was offered a partnership with a local winery co-op, strengthening Willow Creek's future. Mark called, his voice shaky. "We backed the wrong side, Lila." I replied, my eyes firm. "You chose flash over facts. I'm done proving myself." Emma Ward's story hit. Betrayed owner reclaims vineyard in court. I stood in Willow Creek, the deed in my hand, grapes gleaming under the sun. Nathan thought he could erase me. The land, my land, proved him wrong. Hey, if you loved this epic takedown, smash that subscribe button for Revenge Line. We drop the best family drama and revenge stories every week. Comment below and tell us where you're watching from, Raleigh, New York, or across the world. Thanks for joining us.